How do you survive working in an office job while on your period? I'm lucky to not have really bad pain as long as I catch that it's coming on early enough and immediately take some naproxen. It's easier to get ahead of the pain and take medication before it starts than to wait for it to get bad and try to relieve it. I've had more comfortable periods since switching from tampons to a cup, 7 years now, and the few times I've had to use a tampon I've gotten cramps. Make an effort to take breaks and get up and go for a walk. It's tempting to stay in bed on high pain days, but I always feel better after getting up and moving. In what way? How does one endure the pain of having eviscerating cramps while also then having to fake they are happy with colleagues or clients? You endure because you have no choice. You're held to different societal standards as a woman, and although emotions may be more allowable for women than men, expressing raw pain isn't. Advil gets me through. And knowing it will eventually pass. If you can apply something like Advil preemptively before the pain begins, it's more tolerable. But if you get progesterone headaches, well, sometimes you just can't, even because the migraines can get so bad any office lighting will break you. I had extremely heavy bleeding. Black pants or skirt. Tight granny panties, or depends if it was a really bad month. Nighttime pads doubled up if needed. And a tampon. Motrin or some kind of pain relief. And I would minimize movement. Acknowledge that it's temporary and that it will pass. I would usually skip any after work activities and use my period sheets. I also work retail for years this way, standing on my feet. I also had those special cramps that also made my legs hurt down to my knees. Today, I would go to my gynecology as there are treatments available that would help relieve these types of symptoms. They sometimes open Google Maps just to zoom in and out and look at different parts of the map. I don't trust people that don't do this. I used to do it a lot a few years ago. I do it more with Google Earth. More detail and faster responses. You should check out GeoGuessr if you like doing that. Yes. All the time. I love it. Who doesn't? It's the cheapest way to travel without spending all the time and money. I had a hobby of looking for islands and seeing what the culture looked like there. When I was working, I used to take field trips on Google Maps during slow times. I'd be all over the place on maps just exploring different areas on Street View. Thanks to this, I now know my way around a lot of places I've never been to. Like New York or Montreal. Also love exploring the most remote, unheard of little towns in random parts of Russia or India, for example. What is your most feminine quality? Patience. I have the patience of a saint when an old person/kid is talking to me about nonsense, whereas I see my husband growing visibly frustrated the longer someone rambles on. His old mother can talk about nothing for 3 hours straight, so I talk to her on the phone while he eventually walks away after 30 minutes or so. I was actually going to be a teacher, but my first job offer out of college was $32,000 and I couldn't financially do it. Any office job pays $50,000 for someone like me with a STEM degree. I just hate how underappreciated female labor is. Probably the way I am about my hair. I'm not very over the top about a lot of things. I don't often paint my nails, honestly almost never, cause I suck at it. I only wear makeup if I'm going out, even though I do love makeup and have fun doing it. I'm more of a comfort person than a fashion person when it comes to clothes. But my hair is a different story, it has to look nice at all times. I don't care if I'm sick with the flu and been laying in bed all day. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and fuss with my hair and make sure it looks nice. Lol, I don't feel pretty if my hair isn't right, and if you see me, I'm probably gonna have my hair looking as good as I'm capable of. Pretty much everything about me. I'm a girly girl who likes to make up and dress feminine. I'm also nurturing, cook, and love beautifully decorating my home. Decorating for holidays. And flower gardening. People feel very surprised when they bump into my masculine sides. Like when they first notice that I'm pretty buffed up. Have exceptional business skills. Know how to do home repairs. Shoot. And can bait a hook with the worm and clean my own fish. They feel sorry for children being born today because of nostalgia? Do you miss not having the stuff your parents or grandparents grew up with? Every generation has their own nostalgia. And a lot of people seem to think that what they grew up with are the only things worthy of nostalgia. Huh? Every generation has their own feelings of nostalgia based on their age. Nah. They'll be fine. Well, they'll just have their own nostalgia on things we won't really understand. They will have their own events that create nostalgia. It sounds like you might not be much older than a child now. Don't worry. Kids today will be far too busy struggling to survive when they grow up to worry about nostalgia. I think future kids will have their own things to look back on with happiness, but you could definitely make the argument that what we had growing up was more authentic. Nostalgia can never die out. I've been seeing comments from like 12-year-olds reminiscing on early YouTubers the same way we would about our entertainment. This channel raised me, they were my childhood, and quad. No. Kids will have their own cartoons and games that they will enjoy. I do feel sorry for kids who will grow up with toxic social media pushed in their face every minute. But for everything that I had that is better than now, they will have things that are better now than when I grew up. If you weren't world aware when, this song https://www. YouTube.com/watch, v equals 5hr64mx ab_channel equals mic%tube mechanics, was on the radio. Just wait another decade or so and you'll get it. Fellas, what would happen if porn/magazines didn't exist? I reckon I'd be borderline obsessed with what the mysterious female form looks like under their clothes. Especially before I'd been with a woman. Strip clubs would be able to charge a lot more. Fat chance of that happening. Porn started with the cavemen. When some guy made it with the best looking cave woman in the tribe. And wanted to brag about it on a cave wall. Porn has existed since the dawn of time. They even found porn of Cleopatra in a tomb dating back thousands of years. Also, there's a cock carved into the stone on Herodin's wall by some bored legionnaire. Without internet porn there would be less pied and other problems related to it. For sure. People would probably jerk off to fantasies of whatever sexual experiences they've had/heard. Well, what's the difference? Using imagination instead of visual stimulus is far from impossible. Or, perhaps, people would be using much tamer visuals to tease their imagination. I'd probably be more successful than I am now. Finding porn at a young age can cause problems for people. They can become addicted and develop sexual and relationship problems, which adds to other issues. I personally think because of this, the world would be a better place. I like the answer that Drive. Cox on Scrubs said years ago, if all porn were taken off the internet, there would only one website left called Bring Back the Porn! And quote. Hilarious. And probably true. Does anybody know what Amish people masturbate to? You remember that episode of South Park where they had to hand draw porn? Maybe something like that. Women would probably just switch over to erotica. But I would expect erotica to start having hand-drawn pictures in it.